I don't speak for RTE on this. I think that they made a serious mistake in not announcing that she had been suspended.
This is Seamus Dooley of the NUJ.
That she had not been suspended. That should have been announced. But the cute tourism of ringing the Secretary General, who I'm delighted to say is a woman, you automatically assumed it was a man, that in some way that you tell them that that's going on or off the record, I can see as a trade union official who insists on due process why this may not have happened. Because I think it is one thing, because if you ask someone for a resignation and they refuse, there's a clear indication that the next step is a disciplinary process, and there may be a timing issue in when you present that information to the minister, because once you tell the minister you have done that, you're pretty much, the Director General is toast at that stage without any process. Going into it, we knew what happened. We sort of knew who made it happen, but we didn't know the why. And we still don't know the why for many of these practices.
Well, I think, and I see different people asking that question. It's blindingly obvious the why. They had set out a line that they were bringing the big earners into line, and the truth of it was that there was a cover up of it. That's the why. They didn't want to get caught out on that.
Well, the bigger why for me, and I would make a point here, is that what yesterday did showed the circle of influence here. And, you know, I would make the point on air that you're part of the circle because you're also a client of Noel Kelly.
That's right.
And I think that should be declared by everyone.
Absolutely.
And the why for me is, why does the public sector or a public service broadcaster need a Noel Kelly figure? And I don't mean Noel, because there are other talent agents as well, to conduct their own business with their own.
The BBC would have the same issue.
I'm only interested in RTE. I actually think that the whole level of influence of this particular talent agency is something which is going to have to be examined. And all of these structures, No,
Seamus, it's a no-brainer. The simple thing is this. All the agents get 15%. They are incentivised, whether you're doing an event, whether you're doing a gig, or whether you're doing a broadcast, whether you're writing a book, or you're a brand ambassador. Their job is to drive revenue. In other words, if I can negotiate without an agent on my own, the only reason I go to an agent is they'll get you more.
Yeah.
And they would have rugby players, they would have everybody, and they'd be dealing with brand ambassadors, corporate ambassadors, and so on. And that is a market feature of the economy. What's at issue here is what Robert Short said yesterday, which I thought that was the most insightful contribution, where he said previously the commercial income exceeded the national income. On the last published accounts, the 196 million came from the licence fee. Commercial income was 148. And his assessment of it, and he's a pretty shrewd judge, was that commercial was going to go down. So my question to you is this. In the context of public service broadcasting, in the context of licence, what will be the fallout, in your opinion, representing journalism?
Yeah. Well, I think that this does, we've been calling for a long time for a re-examination of public service broadcasting. I think the reliance of a public service broadcaster on a commercial relationship is not good. I don't think it makes sense. And I actually think that I was impressed yesterday by the commission and passion of the committee members, but this committee has consistently dodged the issue, as politicians have, because it's not popular to look at funding of the licence fee and the collection of the licence fee system. So there's the backdrop of that. Journalism, of course, is changing. There's also the Future Media Commission report is very clear that public interest journalism is not just RTE, it's not just TG Carr, and it's not just the state funded, and there are opportunities.
But what do you think, this time next year, the fallout of this whole debacle will be? Ryan might be gone, DGs may come and go, chairpersons may come and go. What do you think will be the lasting legacy of this for journalism?
RTE will survive as a public service broadcaster because it will survive through good journalism. Independent newspapers survived the hacking of phones by its own owners through excellent journalism. The Irish Times survived a financial crisis during the reform of during the Major McDowell era because of good journalism. So what we need to do is to make sure that the corporate structures are put in place to allow people make news rather than make headlines.